Scholars, welcome back to the counselor's office. You're probably wondering what's going on with that. That was another webcam that I had up, but it's frozen. But just to showcase, I have another webcam that will go back over here where the PlayStation is with a monitor, because I will be playing some Destiny 1 in the upcoming future before we get to Edge of Sadness, or Edge of Nothing. At this point, there's literally nothing for Edge of Fate. They have shown nothing of value from Edge of Fate. And it's not just my opinion. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to look at numbers today. There's some caveats. I like to be subjective and to be fair when, let's just jump into it. So here we have certain YouTubers' favorite people, does Destiny Bulletin, posting a game post. I don't know if they do the same thing. I don't know if game post is its own. I'm assuming it is its own journalist. But here we have Destiny 2 Edge of Fate pre-orders are down nearly 50% from the final shape, new data shows. First off, I don't think we needed to see data to know that it was going to be less than the final shape. I also think it was going to be worse than the final shape because it's just not shown anything. But let's read the article and we'll discuss. So there's some specific things we have to say when we're talking about data, because there's a lot of things that have like an asterisk, because it's not like a one-to-one. Like we have to be fair. Despite major updates coming with Destiny 2's Edge of Fate, thank you coming with, not along, it's coming alongside it, essentially. It is not the expansion itself. New fan analysis shows pre-orders are nearly 50% lower than the final shape. Destiny 2's next expansion, Edge of Fate, is just a few weeks away, launching on July 15th, 2025. This expansion kicks off the new Year of Prophecy and adds some fantastic changes, including the portal, which is free, a new gear tiering, which is free, armor stats overall, which is free, non-linear campaign, which is part of the expansion, and more. Asterisks on the more, we don't even know. There's also the start of Destiny 2's new content delivery structure with a free major update in between each expansion release, which is the free seasons. It sounds like a solid step forward on paper, and a lot of longtime players seem genuinely interested in what Edge of Fate has to offer. No, they're interested in the free changes. Long-time players are confused on what they're actually purchasing. Like, they don't know what they're actually buying. Many players feel that the excitement around this expansion doesn't seem to match what we've seen in the past years. Not even close. This is like the worst reveal we've ever had for expansion. I think even Curse of Osiris had better reveals, like dev reveals. Like, you go back and watch some of those old classic reveals, it is night and day difference. Like Curse of Osiris, Warmind, like they actually go into some actual detail. And they show you like a lot that they have not even shown about Edge of Fate. And that's like, wow. Destiny 2 Edge of Fate pre-order data shows major drop. Reddit user Testify shared a data-driven comparison between pre-orders for Edge of Fate and the final shape earlier today, using publicly available stats from Warmind.io, a popular Destiny 2 stat tracking site. While not official numbers for Bungie, the data offers one of the clearest glimpses at pre-order trends we've got right now. To track pre-order numbers, Testify looked at the numbers of Destiny 2 accounts that have unlocked the unique pre-order emblems tied to each expansion, external sites for Edge of Fate, and paracausal path for the final shape. Because these emblems are tied directly to purchasing the expansions, they work as a fair, consistent way to monitor pre-orders interest over time. The Reddit user automated this tracking process and has been collecting data daily since March 2024, storing it in a database. The comparison focuses on matching timelines, meaning it compares where Edge of Fate is now, about 3 weeks before launch, to the final shape was at the same point before its release. The results aren't great. Edge of Fate is currently sitting at about 53% of the Final Shape's pre-order count at the same point in time, and if this pace holds, it could finish with nearly 1 million fewer player purchases than the Final Shape. I think it's going to happen anyways because Bungie has had 3 opportunities, or this next Tuesday, 3 opportunities to reveal something about Edge of Fate, and they've done nothing but advertise the free changes. And that's part of the problem. We'll get more depth in a minute. Here's a summary of what the analysis shows. Edge of Fate pre-orders are 47% lower than the Final Shape. If trends continue, Edge of Fate is on track for around 1.1 million purchases compared to, that's another thing, on track. That's completely something else to talk about. The percentage comparison, currently 53%, is updated daily to show EOF is pacing against the Final Shape. The analysis automated this tracking process has been collecting data since March 2025. Of course, this isn't a perfect one-to-one representation of Bungie's actual sales numbers. Emblems unlocks may not capture every purchase, and players may not have acquired the emblems from the special delivery kiosk yet. Even if it's not official sales data, it's still one of the better ways to see how interested Destiny players are in the expansion. There are a few reasons why Edge of Fate might not be generating the same kind of momentum. The Final Shape was the end of a massive 10-year storyline. That's fair. A finale that players have been waiting for years. It carried a sense of closure and payoff that naturally drew more attention. In contrast, Edge of Fate is the start of a brand new saga, which hasn't really shown anything. And while that's exciting in theory, it doesn't come with the same weight of urgency. On top of that, it's a smaller expansion by design, closer in scope to something that, like that of Rise of Iron, which might make it feel less essential compared to previous releases. And of course, there's a bigger picture. Trust in Bungie has taken a hit over the past year or so, especially after major layoffs, cancellation of other projects, and the absence of any sign that Destiny 3, which many players were hoping for, is even in development. Okay. Then they're going on that it's weekly. If you need more signs the Edge of Fate might be underperforming, just look at Steam's weekly top selling list. Between April 9th and May 7th, as well as the following weeks up to the launch of Final Shape, Destiny showed up in Steam's top 20 best-selling games every single week. Now, comparing that to the same window for Edge of Fate from May 20th to June 20th, the game hasn't made the top 20th at all. Just last week, Destiny was sitting at all the way at the bottom at 65th on Steam's weekly top seller. That's a pretty noticeable drop. Just this week, Bungie held a developer. Yeah, so they're talking about this stuff that it's just nonsensical from Bungie's point. All right, let's talk about some things here. Let's look at we're seeing data. First off, they did point out this is not one-to-one. It's based on emblems, so it's not going to be one-for-one. That's not fair to be like, oh, look at the data. Another thing is, this is more accurate because it's already what's accomplished. This is just a projection. It's similar to like weather projections, right? You can predict and try to use projections of the percentage of chance of rain, all this stuff. This is not guaranteed to even be a reality. Because right now this is theoretically, if we're close to the 1-to-1, maybe it's like a 0.5 to 1. We're right here, which is half of the Final Shape. Yes, the Final Shape is indeed a different bird because it was the finale. But there's a lot of things that you have to consider in the fact that why Edge of Fate, the reveals were night and day difference. Like I said, Bungie's advertising free content, not the DLC, so it's already hurting the DLC significantly. And people in general, the Bungie showcased what was coming with the Final Shape, especially when it comes to like prismatic. I'm sorry, destination abilities is not something that destination mechanics isn't something that's actually exciting to the main community. It's especially since you can't use it for only 1% of the game is going to be using this mechanic, whereas 99% doesn't. So people liked prismatic. People don't like the mechanic being the highlight of Edge of Fate because it feels bad. So that is one of the comparisons here, is that it's not an actual ability or some kind of increase. We don't have any activities. There's a lot of factors. There's no increase PvP, anything advertised within the actual expansion itself. They're not selling the expansion. They're selling the new stuff. And so what's happening is more people see their urgency here with the final shape is this is the conclusion to the story. People don't have that urgency anymore. People feel like, okay, this is essentially Destiny 3 in Destiny 2 is essentially what many content creators were panning this out, especially with the free updates. Hey guys, you want Destiny 3? Here it is. That actually might be a double-edged blade, and actually that argument is actually what's causing this to do more, like it's caused more harm than it has done to benefit and convince people to continue playing Destiny 2, because now you're telling them this is Destiny 3. Well, I'm not going to invest in this until I see something. And so I think a lot of people did wait for the final shape, but I think even more people are going to wait because there's no urgency, there's no rush, and most people are not happy with a lot of even the free changes. Like, people are just not satisfied with this. So there's a lot of factors that play a part in this data. And I think something that also builds into this is the player count. So let's go over here. We have Destin. I've been seeing the Destiny 2 updates, and I've got to be honest, I think I may be ready to let my time with that game sunset after the final shape. I just don't see the story or gameplay loop ever becoming as interesting as that arc was. And my hype has never been lower, knowing I need to do vault management as a prerequisite to playing the next expansion. Seems like others may be feeling the same. And as you can see, the player count is just going down the toilet. And that's another thing. Like, if we go and look at the actual Destiny player count, if we go to the leading up to the final shape, we look at data is important. Data is very important. Let's see, where are we at? Right here. Okay. So right here, we have just on average, you can look at the total, but let's look at average. Average, this is all like into the light. The population pretty healthy. People are coming back. No, they're excited. Actually, wait a minute. I think right here. Sorry. April, May, even better. Yeah, the numbers got bigger. Right here, 60, 72. So Into the Lights brought people back. They were excited. We saw reveal trailers. And then we were pretty consistent throughout June, having 123 players. And yes, half of it dropped off because, like I said, final shape, people are going to leave, but it kind of returned back to this May number. And then Echoes this is when people realized episode Echoes was just garbage, and it dropped, right? And it went downhill since then. An entire year outside of the final shape has been disastrous. And now you have this population number. People are done. They're done with Bungie giving them lackluster content, tired for multiple reasons: the disrespect, the distrust, layoffs, the lies, the deceits. I mean, we just got done having Rights of the Nine was time gated, and then Bungie was gaslighting the community, saying, that's not what we said. We never said it wasn't on a weekly rotator. Then they again gaslighted the weapons being adept and shiny, even word for word, that it was going to be shiny adepts, which you can look at my brutally honest review of that because I show you the clips exactly what they say. There's a lot of issues that people are they're breaking. The community is breaking from the seams, And so people are leaving, people are had enough. And so people are not wanting to, they're not wanting to pre-order, they're not wanting to buy or invest. And here's another thing, something that you have to consider. This might be even higher because people pre-ordered both expansions for the year. That's right. This number might be bloated, not even because people are buying just the expansion. They bought the combo deal. They got Edge of Fate because they bought the combo package. So that's another thing we had to consider is how many of these are actual just pre-orders of the Edge of Fate, and how many of these are the pre-order of Renegades 2? Like, that is a huge difference here. Because a lot of people who are dedicated to Destiny are probably buying both, right? They're probably buying both. And so that is something that you have to consider. How much of this is a combo deal? Because that also may impact the sales later in the year, because Final Shape was for the full year. This is now divided. What a full expansion would have been is now divided into smaller content. So if you're getting the bulk right here and then come Renegades and it has even lower, you put them together, you may have a worse situation than what we think it is. But let's go back to Destin. And of course, you have people who are disingenuous, people who are Bungie ball fondlers, people who try to discount data and facts and logic. What's the point of posting Steam chart? Destiny has always been more on consoles, especially since they were acquired by Sony, and this is not true. To address this argument, Steam charts are a public data point that gives us a huge metric about a game's health. I don't understand why anyone would defend data from a platform with 132 meter MOS. I don't know what that necessarily means. And no, there's no indication Destiny 2 is more popular on console. We've seen that narrative disproven time and time again. Not really trying to call out Blaze here. I am. Stop being a Bungie ball fondler, you twat. But I see this a lot and think it's very odd to discount a very significant piece of data. Yes, because people don't like the narrative. They don't like the, oh no. We can't acknowledge that there's a problem. We can't acknowledge that this is really freaking bad. That this is not good. This is a massive data point that people don't want to acknowledge as, yes, we need to improve the game. Because people like me who enjoy the game and love the game, we see the red flags. We don't want it to crash and burn. Well, some people do. Like, we're not just saying this just haha, you're shit game shit, you know. No, it's like, hey, red flag, ship down. I'm just the dudes who are, you know, the band playing on the Titanic, and they're playing as it sinks to the bottom. They're trying to have a good time while they can. It is not. I love this. Definitely. That alone indicates, yes, because you matching. I love people that use a trust me, bro. I loaded up faster, so that means it's more popular. I love these arguments from people. It still represents a large enough sample of overall population that one could draw conclusions from. Of course, you can't account for every variable, but looking at tens of thousands of users when hundreds of thousands used to be active on the same platform seems viable. Exactly. It is not factually. You're either lying for some reason or incredibly dense. You provide the data. Provide the data. You are incredibly wrong. You're incredibly wrong. Let's see. Anyone else actually provide any data, like, at all? Anyone at all bringing some data? Because no one's playing that's, here we go. Yeah, it might be more popular on console, but the trend still applies across platforms. For 2 days, we're about 80K. I don't know if this is true. This was a day ago. So I don't, is this the Epic Games for 2 days? So Epic Games, that's you could say is PC, but let's look at console. For 2 days, 110. So that means about 50K players. PlayStation, 2 days. It is a little bit more popular in PlayStation. So what, around, it's just like 90, 80, 100, like 80K, something like that. We're being yeah, like 80K-ish. That's still not good. Like for 2 days, we're talking about 2 days, and overall, granted, again, it's Warmine.io. It's not popular by much compared to Destiny. When you think of the big, grander scheme of things, especially when you're looking at what we used to have, right? But yeah, I mean, the whole concept of more people are playing on console, but that doesn't discount the argument that, yes, numbers are going down. And I'm sure there are probably more people playing on PlayStation than this. But if you're going to say, oh, 80K on PlayStation for 2 individual days is a lot, you're wrong. Like, it's not good. Again, I don't know what this is, because we don't have Battle.net, so I'm guessing it's the Epic Games. Or is this total, like the total population? If this is the total population for 2 days, maybe that's what it is. It's the total population for 2 days. I don't know. 2 days, that's not good. Like, for all consoles, like, that's bad. Everyone rejects, let's see. Everyone rejects Steam numbers like a data point of 75K is meaningless. I'm just saying it's significant and tells a story about the overall health, and in this case, bleed off of players. I did forget Warmind can pull more stats though. Yeah, I mean, you could use these Warman stats, especially if this is the overall population for 2 days for both all consoles and PC. For 2 days, that's bad. That's like really bad. Like really, really, really bad. Even as like a rough estimate for all consoles for 2 days, not 1 day, 2 days. That's bad. We gotta open our eyes here. That's why these numbers are low. People are playing Destiny less. People are actively engaged less with the game. And I really, the Bungie has to break the mold of, shh, we can't tell anything about this expansion. No, you need to do almost everything possible to showcase every little thing about the expansion. Stop focusing on the free shit. You need to highlight as much possible, because what happens is every person I've seen talk about it, and when they have a conversation with me about, okay, they're not showing the expansion, 99% of the replies are, it's because there's nothing to show. And there's some truth to that, unfortunately. There's some truth, as there's leakage, and I'm going to wait, kind of see how things play out. There's no strikes. There's no lost sectors. There's no PvP maps. Like, even though that would be free, even if they wanted to say, hey, buy this expansion, get PvP maps, that's still, they've done that before. I mean, there's nothing to show. And apparently there's not a new public space activity either, like Overthrow for Pelhart. There's none of that either. So, which is funny. There's also no strikes. No new strikes. That's right. I do find it funny that lost sectors and strikes are the two things from public spaces that are or at least destinations that are probably the most played activity. Especially strikes when they go into Grandmasters, or, you know, people farm those weapons. It is baffling that we're not gaining anything new. Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. Let me know what you think down below. But so far, this half of it, I would say 20% of it is because it's the final shape. The rest of it is Bungie's incompetence. One way or another, you could throw a dart and you'd be right. Throw a dart somewhere on the board, you'll find something that's a reason. That's probably why. I think one of the biggest things is that they have not done a good job selling the expansion whatsoever. No one knows what they're buying. Oh, a gun, a crossbow. Great. That's cool. Oh, Metroid ball in the exploration. Okay. What else? What else? It's funny because in Curse of Osiris, they explored a shit ton of that Mercury and even the Infinite Force showcasing it. And we just have like nothing to go off of outside of a couple content creators previews of a mission. And that's it. I don't know. Let me know what you think. I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor. We will really find out next week. And then I've already got a video ready. I'm waiting to see what they say. And then I'm going to give a very brutally honest PSA, especially if they don't do the right thing. I'm going to warn as many people as possible not to buy this expansion, or at least wait. You know, watch me, someone who's going to give you an honest opinion, who's not going to sit there and glaze it. I want Destiny to be good. I love Destiny, and I want to be excited. I don't play a game not to be excited. So if it's exciting and you see me excited, then you know it's exciting. Or maybe you may not think it's, but if you see me excited, that means there's something there, right? Because I do get excited about Destiny. Unfortunately, it's been a minute that I've been absolutely. I think the last time I was excited was playing a Stronghold Titan build, like finding out Flash Counter. Like I was one of the first people to find that, and it really started blowing up, and I just loved it. I don't really take credit for it or try to take credit for it, but like one of my very first live streams on the first day was me using that combination, and I was smiling the entire time. And I just want to be able to smile about an expansion in that same way. Not just because there was a cool update to a perk or a combo. Just, I want the whole package to be making me smile. I don't know. But you just hate Destiny. You don't want, that's all you want to do is complain. You just want to hate Destiny. Oh, sweet, sweet, ignorant child. You know nothing. You know nothing, Jon Snow. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Let me know what you think. Until next time, game out.